Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you some really cool console tips and tricks that you should know as a JS developer, no matter if you're an advanced or a beginner developer. So let's get started. Now, a lot of times in your development journey, you might be facing this that you have to deal with such kind of data, which is basically an array of objects, which either you create or you get from an API by using the GET request through the fetch API. So normally when you want to use it, we tend to print it in the console to see the properties and values so that we can use it properly while performing the DOM manipulation. So we basically print it like this. So it gets printed like this. And then we tend to go inside and find out the index and see the properties and all that stuff. And it becomes very messy if the objects are like around 20, 30 or 40. So one of the coolest ways is, instead of using console.log, you can use something called as console.table, which will basically create a table representation of the same data, which is much more better to look at and easily understandable, which is something like this. So now I don't have to go down the tree and see all the properties. I can see all the properties at once here. Okay, it also adds the index property so that we can see the indexes. So it's a much better data to look at, to find the properties and the values easily, and then we can easily perform our DOM manipulation. So this is one of my favorites. Okay. Now the next one is, whenever you want to, let's say, print some warning message. So we again tend to do console.log for everything. But if you are planning on to print a warning message that future developers that will be working on this project or someone else should see, instead of using console.log, you can use something called as console.warn. And inside that, you can write whatever you want. So for example, warning, don't update, something like that. And when you check it, the message looks like this. So it's kind of a warning message. So if they see it, they will at least check it out. Okay, what's going on there, right? So they will stop on the point or something like that. So you can use it for whatever purpose you want. It just gives a good look to your message. It looks like a warning now. Now the next one is, a lot of times you're working with loops or functions, and sometimes you're not understanding like how much of time a loop is taking, or let's say you want to know how much time a loop takes, right? So that you can maybe think of the operations so that you can decide whether to keep this loop or try to try some other variations of the loop. So you can actually check the performance of the loop or the timing the loop takes by using some console methods as well. For example, so let's say I have a loop and it is simply going from 1 till, let's say, 1000. So I is less than equal to 1000 and I plus plus. And now let's say it is just printing a simple hello message. So I want to check how much time this loop is taking so that I can decide whether to keep it or whether to try some other way. So normally here it is just printing it. So what I can do now is, on top of this, I can simply say console.time. It will basically start checking, and if I want, I can also pass some kind of parameter here, a string parameter, which will basically give me a name. So let's say loop time. It is basically for labeling, that's all. And then console.again time end. So this is basically the end of the checking, and again pass the exact same message here, because this will be printed as a string on the console. So here we go. Now if I run it, it perfectly completes the loop, and then at the end tells you loop time 45 point something milliseconds. And it may vary every time because of the performance of the browser and all that stuff, but you can always check it like this. So this is one way. There is one more way by which you can check it. There is also something called as performance. So in that case, instead of using console.time and console.timeEnd, there is one more way. You can simply create a variable. Let's say we call it T0, that basically stands for time 0. And I can use something called as performance. So it basically gives us a much more precise timer. So performance.now, and also come here and put let T1, that is the completion time, and again put performance.now. And now finally, while printing it, just go ahead, log it, and while doing it, just do T1, that is the final time, minus T0, that was the initial time. That's it. Now can again check it. It kind of gives the same timing because both of them are kind of similar, but on the documentation it is written that performance now it's much more precise, so you can always use it. But again, anyway, to check it, they will be always close. So either you use console.time and time end, or you can also use your performance.now. Now for the last one I have saved, it is one of my favorite ones. Now, there are a lot of times when you actually want to highlight things on the console. So let's say you're generating something from loop and you want to print a lot of things on the console. And in that string, let's say you're printing a lot of strings on the console, and in that string, there is some important data that you want to highlight. So you can also apply CSS on the console text. So let me show you how to do it. And it's very simple. So for example, let's say I'm logging a message, console.log. Let's say, hello, for now, let's say Thor. So let's say this Thor, I want to highlight this name. So what I can do is just go there and put %C. And now what you can do, just put up a comma here. And then you can write CSS. So for example, let's say color red. Now understand that this CSS will be applied wherever you have mentioned %C. So %C and whatever you have mentioned after that, this CSS will be applied to that. So in this case, Thor or whatever I write after that. So Thor, let's say Odinson. So this particular CSS will be applied to this whole stuff. Let's check it out. And here we go. You can see hello Thor Odinson and it's highlighted. And this is not it. I can also apply multiple different kind of CSS. So I can also go and put one more %C. So wherever you put one more %C, that basically means the older CSS is ending and you're starting with a new CSS. So let's say I put Loki in this case. So now I want to apply a different CSS to Loki. So in that case, I'll again put up a comma and I can apply CSS here. So color, let's say green. Now if you check it, here we go. You can see hello Thor Odinson is red and Loki is green. Now you might ask, okay, what if I want to continue with some normal text afterwards? So for that, you can either write another console.log, that is the best option, or you can just continue after this. So you can just go ahead and put like normal text after this. And you can see it just continues like a normal text. So that's how you do it. Just put up a %C and then the CSS. So understand that it goes in sequence. The first %C will take the first set of CSS. The second %C will take the second set of CSS. And whatever text you want to continue without CSS, just write it after your CSS area or in a different console.log. And yes, you can also do a few more things, not only color red. So I can also do some background color stuff. So I can just go ahead and put background color and I can say, let's say yellow in this case. And you'll see that yellow is also getting applied. So by using this, you can also highlight content in the console. So now that's it from today's video, guys. That's it. Now use them properly, use them wisely. You can make your debugging in the console. You can make your data reading much more better and much more understandable. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have liked the video, please subscribe to the channel and help me grow. And I'll see you in the next videos. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.